For today's video, I just really wanted to sit down and chit chat, kind of like old school YouTube style. I know I've mentioned that a few times on this channel, but I just have such a deep nostalgic love for old school YouTube. It makes me so happy. I love it so much. And I really do miss the days when we would just kind of like turn on a camera and just yap about anything and everything. I love the way YouTube is now, of course, but I just really miss that kind of like nostalgic feeling. Less producing, less editing, less fancy schmancy stuff, and just kind of like connecting. And one of the ways that I have connected with you guys a lot throughout the years is through a series on my channel called Big Sis Advice. And this was something that you guys named, and it was just like a heart-to-heart kind of vulnerable chat type of series where we would talk about everything. And I haven't done one of those in a while, so I thought it might be nice to kind of collect some of the things that you guys have been chatting about recently, asking me questions about. I am not an expert by any means, oh my gosh. Think of this as like a stream of consciousness video, maybe even like a podcast style video where we just like kind of sit down and chat about whatever comes to mind. I also know a decent amount of you who are watching this video are the same age as me or maybe even older than me, so I'm not like a big sis to everyone, but you get the idea. So hopefully you will take something from it nonetheless, and we're just gonna chat about a variety of different things, everything from style, trends, friendship breakups, things I've learned in my 30s, so on and so forth. And speaking of style, before we go any further, I just want to say a big thanks to Express for partnering with me on this video. I have loved Express and worn them since high school, and I always go back to them for those really elevated basics, those timeless pieces. And I've picked out a couple new outfits that I'm going to try on for you for like end of fall, beginning of winter, things that are going to take me from running errands to going out to whatever it may be in between. So I picked out a few different pieces and we're going to try them on together. Also, if you're interested in any of these items that I try on, make sure you click the links down in the description box below to shop the product that I mentioned in this video. Everything will be linked down there for you, so let's go ahead and try them on. All right, here we have the first look, which to me is kind of like a casual but like slightly elevated casual look. I love this look so much. First of all, these jeans, incredible, 10 out of 10, no notes. And then I paired this really cute vest top with it that I think is just such a perfect, for me, layering piece for winter because it doesn't get very cold where I live. So I could easily get away with this. This is a winter outfit for me, but if you lived in a colder climate, you could throw over like a little blazer over your shoulders, a leather jacket, whatever it is that you have. Okay, next for like maybe the cutest, coziest, comfiest outfit ever, we have this one, which I'm so in love with. We have this oversized boyfriend sweater that truly I could wear as a sweater dress. It's that cute. And one thing I appreciate more than anything is when something says that it's oversized and it actually is. Like, this is actually an oversized sweater. Then with it I have this cute little mini skirt. I would probably style this with some tights for some anti-chafing protection, and just like I love the way that a sheer tight would look with this outfit. I would say for the sweater, if you're looking for more of like a regular fit, then go like maybe 1 to 2 sizes down, but if you're looking for that really oversized baggy fit, then go with your usual size. I also do hope that Express will expand their sizing in the future to include plus sizes, but I love this outfit. I feel so confident in it. I feel so cozy. I feel very trendy, very ready for anything that winter has to bring me. It's so cute. Okay, and last but not least, we have this outfit, which to me is just timeless. It's a classic staple outfit, but just so much more stylish. So I have these amazing high-waisted trouser pants that are so comfortable. They're wide leg. They like literally feel like pajamas, but they look so elevated. I love that I can wear these with heels and they're not going to make the pants too short, which is like a tall girl problem that I run into all the time. We also have this super simple white tee that is like surprisingly difficult to find a good one. This one is actually double lined in the front, so I just feel like that little detail makes it so much nicer. This is going to be my new favorite white tee, hands down. Then for a little pop of red, because I'm clearly into that right now, like I said, I have this amazing crew neck sweater. This is actually from the men's section. I fell in love with this color. I think this is going to be great for like throwing over the shoulders like this, but I also think it'll just look cute as a sweater on its own. So yeah, I love this outfit. I think it's going to be super versatile. I can mix and match all of these pieces together. I'm kind of in love, and I feel like all of these pieces are going to be staples that I can wear in my closet for many years to come. I love that about them. So one of the things that this channel is obviously kind of like focused around is fashion and style, and it's not even necessarily something that like I intended to go into. I used to make like story time videos on this channel channel. I used to make like DIYs and beauty videos, hack videos, product reviews, like all sorts of stuff. I've kind of had just like a wide variety of a journey here on YouTube, but I think just kind of in entering womanhood and figuring out my body and my relationship to my body, it's kind of just come second nature to also talk about all things fashion. And like, I've always been really into fashion. I was very experimental with fashion in my youth. Like, I was always trying new things, and not all of them were great, let me tell you, but you could at least say I was trying, you know? And like, I think that sort of like rolling into my 30s has been interesting, because it wasn't really until my 30s that I felt like I have kind of like nailed down my style and what it is that I like. And this is like such a loaded topic, because personal style has become such a like buzzword phrase at the moment. I feel like the way the trend cycle is these days, it's like so quickly cycling through things back to back to back to back, and then like in no time those things that weren't cool anymore because we've cycled through them so quickly are now cool again. And it's like we're all just trying to figure out what makes us feel comfortable and cool. And I have seen and partaken in a lot of trends. Obviously, I think they're really fun, and I think that there's a lot of like demonization of trends that kind of happens recently, which is weird. And I think some of that stems from this whole topic of personal style. And personal style is like one of those things that like when I hear it, it kind of makes me twitch now, because I think it's just been played out a little bit, and we've all become so obsessed with talking about personal style that like having personal style has become a trend. Does that make sense? We've kind of like lost the plot a little bit, I feel like. And I do think that some people don't have personal style. I don't even know if I do, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I think I have like pillars, right? I love 90s fashion. I love playing with color, but I'm kind of a mishmash of everything. And like throughout my 30s, I have learned that I love just rolling with different trends, trying them out, seeing what sticks, liking something, maybe not liking something, trying something else. That's just kind of me and my personality. But I do always have those like core kind of foundations that I come back to. And I've always kind of been like a maximalist when it comes to my style. I've always thrifted and loved thrifting, like kind of different funky things that I'm seeing that are popular or trendy, or maybe even not trendy. I've gone through phases where I've thrifted, like some people in the comments were like, that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but I loved it. It made me so happy. And even if I wouldn't necessarily wear all of those things today, like I still stand by them, and they still really resonated with me at the time. And I think like being a maximalist is kind of like, I don't want to say looked down upon these days, but now minimalism has like kind of become a trend. And so we have all kind of like decided what is and isn't acceptable in fashion. And like, I know that there is a conversation about consumption. I am not arguing with that at all whatsoever, but I do feel like now the trend is shifting more towards minimalism, and popular influencers are like doing these videos where they're getting rid of all of their clothes, which I think is incredible. They're like, I'm just gonna only focus on like my staple basic pieces. I'm gonna rewear things over and over again, which in itself is like really super sustainable, but now it's like influencing other people to do the same, and they're gonna get rid of all of their clothes, and I feel like in no time at all they're gonna have to rebuy new clothes because they only have like X amount of clothes. You know what I mean? It's like a complicated thing, and this is no shade to like any creator at all whatsoever. It's just something that I've noticed, and it's something that can be kind of confusing, especially being in like a fashion space online. Like, I don't really spend a whole lot of time in my outside life talking about fashion and trends and very chronically online TikTok things, unless I'm with my like online creator friends, then we kind of chat about that kind of stuff. But it is something that is always sort of circulating in my field of work. And by no means do I consider myself a fashion girly. Like, I am not a person who predicts trends or sets trends or whatever. I'm just like an enjoyer of fashion. But there is just like, at least for me being on TikTok and like watching kind of commentary about it on YouTube and stuff, it kind of takes a lot of the joy out of getting dressed sometimes when there's just so much discourse about like every little clothing piece, and we're like arguing over a pair of mustard colored boots. If you know, you know. But I know everyone has like the best of intentions, and truly I think that the more authentic you are with your style, the better you'll come across. And also, there's nothing wrong with trying new things either. I just think that like the things that translate and stick the most for me are almost kind of things that like I loved and adored when I was a kid. Like things that really gave me a lot of joy when I was just first discovering clothing as a little girl is what's making me the happiest now, and just like the cozy nostalgia nostalgic feeling of it all is really what I like strive for when I get dressed. And kind of piggybacking off of that and like backing off of the fashion for a little bit, I do think that like I was thinking about it recently, and in my 30s I have become the most authentic version of myself that I have been since I was a little girl. Like I feel like there's no more authentic version of yourself than you when you're little, because you're not worried about impressing anybody, you're not worried about making sure that, I don't know, there's less eyes on you, you have less inhibitions. And I've talked a lot about like inner child work over the years, and I know it's kind of like woo-woo and it's not everyone's favorite thing, but it truly is so magical to reconnect with like that younger version of yourself and live your life for that younger version of you. And like I literally burst into tears the other night because I came across a video of someone talking about how they are like living in their younger self's dream, like they're living in their dream life of their wildest imagination, and it just made me so happy, like knowing that I'm in a safe place. I live in a house with my partner and, you know, have so much love around me. I have friends, I have family, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. But yeah, I would say more than ever, I feel myself like reverting back to my childhood self. I mean, maybe with like a little more decorum and like a little more of a filter. My God. As far as the authenticity goes, I do think that I have just like in my 30s especially, really reconnected with that younger version of myself and just felt so much more comfortable. I do obviously from time to time still struggle with my body and confidence and all that kind of stuff, and that's super normal, but stepping into my authenticity in especially like my mid-30s has been so empowering, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you're in a place in your life where you feel like maybe you're struggling and you feel like a million different versions of yourself from day to day and you want to show up the most authentically, I would highly recommend connecting with your younger self, getting more comfortable with yourself, really learning who you are, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. Another thing, I think I saw someone else talk about this in a video recently. I can't remember who it was, but like getting comfortable saying no to things is so powerful and so necessary. And truly to this day, it's still something that I'm working on. I don't think it's ever going to be easy as like a people pleaser. Definitely not. But I do think that learning how to say no, especially when it comes to really strong boundaries, is so important. And I think in the past, you know, getting on the people pleaser train for a second, I have really focused so much on making sure that I was the most palatable, likable, malleable, easygoing person ever. So much so, like, that it's to my own detriment. And in turn, it kind of became a manipulation tactic without me even realizing it. Like, I wasn't even able to be like, hey, I don't like that, or no, I actually don't enjoy that, or no, I don't want to do that. And I would end up saying yes to so many things that I didn't want to do that I'd end up resenting either like the person or the situation or whatever, instead of just being like, yeah, no, I don't want to go. And I know that's such a silly concept for a lot of people. I know for me, like kind of childhood trauma-ish stuff, I think inspired that. And my goal was to be liked by everyone. And so I a lot of times would have like a completely different personality when I was around different people. And I think I'm always going to be a chameleon, but it was like it went a little far sometimes. And I felt like if I was saying no to someone, it was like the worst soul-crushing, most horrible thing I could ever do. And now I just feel a lot more comfortable being like, hey, I don't feel like it. I'm going to be so honest. Like, I'm not up for it, or that's just like not my thing or whatever, instead of like making up some story and being like, oh, I actually have this or this or this. And yeah, if it hasn't been apparent by like my content, my 30s have been magical. I have had the most incredible time in my 30s discovering myself, discovering my likes and dislikes, really growing into myself, feeling more empowered being myself, feeling more comfortable and empowered in my friendships. Another big topic that I always see people talk about is friendships in general, navigating friendships in adulthood, navigating friendship breakups in adulthood, which that's a whole other beast. That is like definitely something that I've talked about before on my channel. And full disclosure, I have gone through a couple pretty significant friendship breakups in the last like 5 years or so, and navigating friendships as an adult can be really difficult, especially if you start out a friendship with someone when you're quite young and then you grow maybe either together or maybe apart as you get older. And sometimes you're able to grow right alongside each other and you communicate well and you're in tune with one another, and then other times circumstances sometimes, honestly, a wide variety of circumstances can cause like a little bit of a fork in the road, and then sometimes you're just, before you realize it, just completely growing apart. And it's obviously, there's a multitude of reasons why a friendship may end. Sometimes they just naturally kind of fizzle out. Sometimes you lose touch with the person. Sometimes you're in contact a lot less, or you realize that if you stop reaching out to them, you never hear from them again. Or sometimes it's like a totally dramatic, big blowout situation and you feel really wronged and you feel really hurt. Sometimes you're on the receiving end, sometimes you're on the giving end, and it just kind of depends. But no matter what, it's really painful. And honestly, the friendship breakups that I've had in the last few years have been like as painful as a breakup. And I think it's just because girlhood and womanhood is so magical, and it's those friendships that you share with those people are so vulnerable, and you disclose like so much about yourself and all of your secrets, and then you just kind of feel like, where did all of that go? Or maybe you feel like you really never knew that person at all, or maybe they do something that really hurt you and you're just left like, what just happened? Or maybe you realize that they're actually not the person that you once knew before, or they've changed into a different version of themselves, which if that's the case, great, but maybe it just doesn't align with you and yourself anymore. I could honestly do an entire other video on friendship breakups I have in the past, but it was something that like literally I went to therapy for a few years ago. It was just such a wild, painful ride where I was on like sort of the receiving end of a friendship breakup, and I was so puzzled. I never really got any answers. It was just sort of like a ghosting type of thing, and it made me question everything about myself, like to a cellular level. I was like reviewing every single conversation, reviewing every single interaction, thinking about anything I could have said or did that was wrong, instead of being like, if that person has an issue with me and they didn't tell me, then it's none of my business type of thing. And if, you know, they were the type of person that I wanted in my life, they would sit down and say, hey, this is my issue with XYZ or whatever. And I've had issues like that in the past with my own friendships as well. I've had to confront people. It's really uncomfortable. It's not fun, but it's also something that like kind of defines a friendship. Like if you're able to conflict resolve together and you're like, hey, this doesn't work for me, or hey, it really bothered me when this happened, can we talk about it, type of thing. Coming from a really non-confrontational point of view, I think helps a lot. But on the flip side, like friendships in your 30s are so much more fun in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I feel like when I'm hanging out with my friends in my 30s, it's so fun and silly, and I feel like I'm at a sleepover at all times when I hang out with all my friends, and we're just like being super goofy. And so yeah, I don't want it to like be all negative. There's just so many beautiful parts about having friendships the older you get. And also, something that I'm really, really passionate about is that I love this quote that's like, you're not even close to meeting all of the people who are gonna love you yet. And I love that so much. That makes me so happy to think about. Like, I could truly have my next like friendship soulmate out there somewhere. And like, I don't maybe connect with them for another 10, 20 years. And I think that's magical. Like, that's so fun. I think about all the people that I love in my life who have only been in my life for the last, like, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years. And I love them so much and could never picture my life without them. But that's going to be me in like 5, 7, 10 more years with new people and other people. And that's something really thrilling and exciting to me. And, you know, I a lot of times feel like I'm fighting for my life on the internet to prove that being in your 30s is actually still very young. Believe it or not. I think because the majority, or at least the majority of the creators that I watch on the internet are typically in their 20s or maybe like early 30s. You don't see a whole lot of like mid, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, etc. But being 36, you know, this is one of my last videos I'm gonna make when I'm 36. I think I only have one more after this one. My birthday is December 27th. Thank you very much. I'm a Capricorn. You can wish me happy birthday in the comments. I'm kidding. But I feel like I am constantly having to be like, yeah, I'm not a dinosaur. I'm still very young. Like 36 is still very young. I love when I see those like graphics that go around on social media where it's like Oprah was blank years old when she first like started her talk show. I love hearing about people just doing whatever they want with their life no matter their age. Like there's truly no limit to whatever it is that you want to do, bar like physical abilities or whatever it may be. But I really do believe that the best years of my life are still ahead of me. And oh my God, I feel emotional. I'm not gonna cry, but like I do feel a little bit emotional. I really truly do believe that. Like I feel like there are so many more life experiences, trips to take, people to connect with, laughs, you know, laughing till I cry moments, incredible art to experience, more Taylor Swift albums. Like what's not to love? And yeah, I hope that you feel that as well, no matter what your age is, if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 70s, or somewhere in between, or maybe even older. For example, my dad is someone who really inspires me. He is now in his 70s and he's starting a podcast. Like he's just so inspired and constantly trying to soak up the most in life. Like it's just so, I feel so lucky to have someone like that in my life who inspires me to just like never give up. There's never a, oh, I'm too old for this. There's never a, oh, I missed the boat on that or whatever. And listen, life is also short. Like you never know when your time's gonna come. So I hope that I will continue to evolve and grow as I age and just continue to appreciate every stage of life I'm in. How did I start this video talking about fashion and now I'm here giving a full-on seminar? I don't know. I hope that anything I'm saying is making sense. I feel like when I used to do videos like this in the past that like, you know, have zero outline, any idea where I'm going at all whatsoever is like out the window. I used to always be like, did anything I just said like land at all whatsoever? I hope it did. But yeah, that's just kind of it. I really just wanted to chit chat. I really want to get more personal with you guys coming up in the next year and focus less on only showing like outfits and not sharing any more of like my personality and my thoughts. And I know I have my vlog channel for that, but I just want to get back in touch with like 2013 YouTube Carrie in the coming year. So hopefully this is a good start for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also turn on my post notifications if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. Let me know if there are any other kind of like topical big sis advice or just chatty videos, stream of consciousness videos, podcast style videos that you want to see in the future down in a comment below. I would love to do them for you. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all of my love and I'll see you very soon in my next video.